Welcome wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Patricia. I am currently living in China. So it's my China-versary and I decided to make this video. I have two reasons why I'm making this video. The first reason is I just realized it's actually been 10 years. I first came to China in 2011. August 2011. I lived in Beijing for a while and I went back to Nigeria after 2 years. And then after that, I came back in 2013 for my MBBS. I came to study medicine. So after that, I left again and then I came back again. At this point, I think I love this country a little too much because I'm not even thinking of visiting another country, like in terms of relocating. Of course, I want to visit other countries. You get me? But like relocating, I think I prefer living in China for so many reasons, and I'm going to share those reasons with you guys today. Another reason why I'm making this video is because the last video I posted on scholarship, I reposted it on one of my socials and someone asked a question, which I'm going to put here. The question I was asked was, is China safe for immigrants? I'll put up the question here. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things like I mentioned. So the first thing, let's just start with the first thing, which is safety. I haven't been to many countries, but I would say one thing, speaking from experience, China is extremely safe. I don't think, in my opinion, there is any country as safe as China, to be honest. I've been living here for a while. You know, when you have like freedom to move around, you're not bothered, like you're not afraid. There are cameras everywhere. In my building alone, there are so many cameras. Whenever I get a delivery and they drop it at my doorstep, there is literally a camera in front of my door. Sometimes it gives off this, oh, you don't have a private life or you're being watched, but I actually don't see it from that angle. I just see that it gives people the sense of responsibility. You have to act right or else you'll be captured while acting wrong. That's just how I see it. So China is extremely safe. Sometimes I come out, I take a walk when I'm unable to sleep. I take a walk, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I just walk down my building, walk around, listen to music. Like, I'm not bothered at all. And I'm doing this with my phone. I don't have to hide my phone. I don't have to feel like, oh, you're going to steal something from me. It's extremely safe. I have a clip. I'll put up a clip where my friends and I were just riding a bike. This was around I think it was around past midnight. We were just riding bikes and we just didn't care. Like, we're not scared. So yes, like I was saying, China is extremely safe. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about your bags getting snatched. Nobody's snatching your bags. You can take rides. You can go on a bike ride. You can go on a stroll in the middle of the night anytime you want to without being scared of being robbed or your phone being snatched from you or anything. So yeah. It's extremely safe. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is transportation because that's very important. You get me? So yeah, when it comes to transportation, moving from one place to another is so easy and convenient. Trust me, if you want to go to anywhere, you have almost like 1,000 options on how to get there. You can either ride a bike. Like I said, they have bikes parked at like strategic points where you just have to scan the bike with your WeChat or your Alipay, and it's extremely cheap. Just because it's a public bike doesn't mean it's dirty or it's expensive. It's extremely cheap. There are buses. I know, like from my apartment to my school, if I'm taking a cab, it's usually 25 or 30 RMB. But if I'm taking a bus, it's 1 RMB. Like, the difference, do you get? So transportation is quite easy. I'm not even going to compare my country to this country because there is no comparison. There is nothing to compare. Let's just put that out there. But I'm just going to use it as reference. I remember, like, back home, if I'm going to go out and maybe I have an important meeting, you don't want to go through the hassle of feeling like, okay, before you get to where you're going, you'll be dirty or your clothes will be stained. You want to take like boat or a ride, basically, either Uber or Bolt, anyone. So I have that thing where if I'm going for an important meeting, I just have to book a ride. Here, even if you're wearing white on white and you take the bus, there is nothing like, oh, because it's the bus, it's so cheap, you won't get the comfort. Transportation is extremely cheap, regardless the means of transportation you want to use. I'm currently living in a small city. I've lived in Beijing, I've lived in Shenyang, I've gone to Guangzhou, I've gone to Qingdao. I have gone to a couple of places, but I'm currently living in a small city, so we don't have subways, we just have buses and the bikes. But like in places like Beijing, other places I've lived in, there is like, they have subways and it's still the same thing. Like it's very convenient, it's easy. If you want to go to the airport, you can either take the subway or you take the bus. If you're going to the airport with a cab, it's about 100 RMB. If you're taking the bus or the subway, it's less than 10 RMB. So even though it's cheap, you still get the comfort. So transportation is quite easy, it's very cheap, it's extremely affordable. No matter how affordable it is, you still get good service. Yes. One of the questions I get asked almost all the time is, how is living in China? Like, what do you think about the cost of living? Is it expensive? Is it affordable? Though I always answer with, when it comes to cost of living, it can be subjective, which means individuals have, their spending limit. So you can't really compare, but on a general aspect, yeah, living in China is extremely affordable. Cost of living is extremely affordable. Like, I know as an international student, the standard of life I get living here, it's really crazy how affordable the cost of living is and the standard of life you get, like the standard of lifestyle, you get, especially as an international student that you're not allowed to work while you're in school. The cost of living is really affordable. In as much as living expenses or cost of living is subjective, because like I said, we all have our spending limits or our spending abilities or whatever it's called. But yeah, cost of living is quite affordable. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is still part of the things I mentioned earlier. Are Chinese people friendly? How are they to immigrants? Like, what are the things to expect and all of that? That brings me to what I want to say. Sometimes there was this video I made when I was trying the street food. I think I took over 20 pictures that day. This was the first time I shot this video. I couldn't use this particular file because the audio was bad. This man is literally in my shot and he doesn't want to go. Say first.
谢谢，
没事啊。
谢谢。
Bye bye. The one that happened recently, we're taking a walk in school and this guy was riding a bike. He had literally passed us. He has passed though. He was going his way, but he was turning his neck. He couldn't hold it. He now had to turn back. Just come take a picture. Because Chinese people are very curious. Like, when they see you, they want to ask questions. Me personally, at first, I used to feel like, this is not a first time question. How is standard of living in your country? The kind of friends or the kind of, I don't even know how to put it. Like I said, these are my personal experiences. The way these people are friendly, sometimes it's me that is even running from friendship. Because, when they see you, they always want to help. I remember when I was even coming back recently, I was at the subway and I was just wondering how I'm going to carry my bag, my boxes, because I had 3 boxes. I had my hand carry and then 2 boxes with my handbag. I just saw someone, oh, do you need help? I'm like, so like they're really friendly. Even in my estate, like where I'm living, you see them, like they want you to try their stuff. They're really intrigued. They want to invite you out for a meal. They want to take you out. I've never seen people that are so proud of their culture. If you're an international student in China, whether it concern you or it no concern you, what I'm trying to say is whether it's your business or not, they must teach you Chinese culture. Like they are so proud of their culture. Sometimes you could just be passing and they'll ask you for pictures. I feel like I'm a celebrity in this country. I'm not even going to lie, because the amount of pictures I take on a daily basis, anytime I'm going out, is crazy. that's just me trying to say that Chinese people are quite friendly. Like, it's when they ask you questions or when they want to take picture, I don't really see it from a point of being maybe malicious or they want to do anything with it. They are just intrigued, and yeah. The next thing I'm going to talk about is food. Living in China, you get exposed to a lot of varieties of foods. And if you're somebody that is willing to try out new things, you love it. And in as much as they have a lot of things for you to try out, the truth is, depending on where you're living, I've lived in the north, I've gone to the south. Depending on where you're living, the varieties of food you see are quite different. I know that southerners, like southern Chinese people, they like spicy food. When I was living in the north, basically, I was trying like a lot of food. I really like the type of food they have there. Now, where I'm staying, I don't really like as much because though I've not really tried a lot of things, but based on, if I'm to compare it with when I was staying in the north, I think I had more varieties, to be honest. When it comes to food, my favorite food is actually chow mein. Chow mein or jidan chow fan. Jidan chow fan is like rice with like stir-fry rice. So I know like when I visited the south as well, like they had like different food. So you really get a lot of varieties, but you still have access to African food or Nigerian food, basically speaking to Nigerians. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is language barrier. Sincerely, if I'm being honest, I always say this, like, I can't really remember what it was like coming to China for the first time. I don't think I had the first-hand experience. The reason I'm saying this is because now that I process admission, I know how it is for students coming here for the first time, people who don't speak Chinese. Sometimes I used to imagine like if I didn't process their admission and have to like call them and tell them what to do, like the experience, I don't know, like it would be a bit difficult. One of the reasons I say I don't think I had that first time shock is because when I came in 2011, I had my uncle's family. Like I came with family. So right from the airport, I had somebody come pick us up. I had family. Do you get? I came with my cousins and my uncle. So I don't really have like the first-hand experience. And then by the time I went back home after 2 years and I was coming back, of course, then I've picked up some Chinese. So I was able to like move around. But one thing I will say is, no matter the language you're using to study, if you're applying for an English taught course, you must learn Chinese language. At first, it might be difficult, but as time goes on, you'll really be happy that you learned it. So yeah, that's just all I have to say about language barrier. Thank you once again for joining or for watching my video. If today is your first time, like I said, please do subscribe before leaving. If you're a returning subscriber, I love you guys. See you all in my next video. Until then, stay blessed and stay beautiful. If you would like to see more videos like this, let me know.
Shawty out nice, off me, make a man want holla. Anytime I see ya.